Celebrating two Wimbledon champions banned for doping is hard to stomach. Hello dear. Welcome to my News Gossip 24. On my channel you will find viral update news. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. There's no doubting the brilliance of Jannik Sinner or Iga Swiatek, but their respective victories at SW19 come with an asterisk. He is a compromised champion, but there is no disputing Jannik Sinner's mental fortitude. Just 5 weeks after losing arguably the greatest Grand Slam final of all to Carlos Alcaraz in Paris, he tapped into such a deep reservoir of resolve that he rebounded from a set down to vanquish the same opponent and cherish history of his own, as the first Italian man to hoist Wimbledon's Golden Challenge Cup aloft. It felt, in many ways, a truly wholesome scene. A 23-year-old fulfilling his dreams in front of his tearful mother Sigland, receiving his life membership of the All England Club, taking the plaudits of the Princess of Wales while signing tennis balls for each of her children. But even his conversation with newly minted tennis royalty could not obscure the elephant lurking in the corner. The question of whether Sinner, banned from the sport for 3 months after twice testing positive for the prohibited steroid Klossball, should have been competing here at all. Nick Kyrgios, a finalist 3 years ago, wasted little time in conveying his view, posting a message on X that contained no words, merely an asterisk. Normally, the Australian's contributions could be dismissed as the rantings of a malcontent covetous of a superior player's success. Except Wimbledon was left confronting a situation that was anything but normal, with both the gentlemen's and ladies' singles champions this year having served drugs bans within the past 12 months. On issues beyond doping, tennis is at pains to uphold its integrity. In 2022, players from Russia and Belarus were banned from Wimbledon for fear of the cachet that triumphs for those countries could bestow on their leaders in the wake of the invasion of Ukraine. Doping violations, it would appear, spark no such moral panic. The Champions Ball on Sunday night toasted the glories of Sinner, whom the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, had wanted out of the sport for a year until striking a deal with his legal team, and Iga Swiatek, who tested positive last year for trimetazidine, a banned heart medication. To call it awkward barely began to cover it. A Wimbledon final is an occasion where inconvenient subtexts tend to be airbrushed. For a shade over 3 hours, the focus, rightly, was on Sinner's remorselessly clinical tennis, his ability to extinguish the faintest stirrings of a third-set comeback by Alcaraz with a second-serve ace. He is a figure for whom the concept of psychological scar tissue seems not to exist. Where less cold-blooded souls might have suffered trauma for a lifetime after failing to convert 3 championship points at Roland Garros, Sinner somehow converted the anguish into rocket fuel, barely blinking when the same opportunity arose at the very next major. There is a danger, though, in extending admiration of Sinner's comeback from his French Open misery into a view that his response to a doping suspension also represents some form of vindication. You can see glimpses of this already. When he demolished Alexander Vyuk in the second round, John McEnroe marveled at how he had handled the stress of his 3-month exile. Todd Woodbridge, the former Wimbledon doubles champion, struck a similar tone during the final, heralding Sinner's resilience throughout his battles on and off the court. Tennis prefers to gush over how the world number one has dealt with some minor inconvenience to his schedule than to address the fundamental question of fair sport and how central this is to public trust. Sinner has maintained that traces of Klossball had found their way into his system through inadvertent contamination by a physiotherapist during a massage. While an independent tribunal accepted this explanation, WADA appealed against the panel's ruling that he bore no fault or negligence. There is, after all, a central principle in the anti-doping realm known as strict liability, the notion that athletes are ultimately responsible for whatever enters their bodies, and that this duty extends even to members of their entourage. In the end, the 3-month duration of Sinner's absence from the tour all looked too cozy, too convenient. The timing, falling neatly between Melbourne and Paris, ensured he did not miss a single major, that he was never threatened with losing his number 1 ranking. Contrast this lenient treatment of a superstar with the fate that members of the rank and file have endured. In 2022, Britain's Tara Moore recorded positive tests for Baldwin and Nandrolone. While the International Tennis Integrity Unit eventually exonerated her, agreeing with her testimony that she had eaten the meat of steroid-dosed cattle, this verdict did not arrive until after 19 months of professional and reputational ruin. It's going to take more than 19 months to rebuild, repair and recuperate, she lamented. This is the point that truly sticks in the craw with Sinner. That while his career has not been derailed in the slightest, lesser mortals who have committed similar transgressions have had their livelihoods destroyed. A champion with an asterisk? That is a bold claim. But there is no doubt that his name, newly inscribed on his sport's most prestigious honors board, comes with a distressing amount of baggage. This was a victory for nerve, stamina, and some very effective lawyers.